And I thank you for that. So, did you get a kidney?
We put porn to shame.
The womb isn't just about where I give birth to
about
babies.
it.
The
Talk.
womb is about where we give birth to purpose.
Talk!
I was basically all of her nevers.
I never imagined my journey would inspire people all over the world.
You have set a standard in love.
I was dating a young lady who helped me heal.
Wow, this woman is a ride or die.
The conversations have really helped me to change my perspective on relationships.
I had 19 attorneys at one time that were speaking into my ear. 19 attorneys.
My last relationship, it did a number on me.
What you did not know is I had a whole little situation lined up that evening.
Your transparency is literally setting people free.
And you're unique. You ain't like nobody else. I noticed that right away.
You can make me cry. Thank you. I received that.
Let one of them Barbie doll bodies walk over here. He gonna say, "Dear Future Wifey." You know what I'm saying? They're gonna go right in that box.
I'm Laterras Whitfield, and welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast.
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Laterras Whitfield. Listen, we are having an amazing time in season 5, and y'all been rocking with us. Man, this is the last episode of the season, and so I have some amazing guests to close it out. Y'all been asking a lot of questions about where they are, but before we get into that, are you still shacking up with us? Come on, if you're still shacking up with us, can you go ahead and hit that subscription button and subscribe? You know, I've noticed that you guys have some commitment issues. We're getting 500,000 to 1 million views a month on this channel, and only 72% of y'all are subscribed. That's sad. And let me tell you why it's important for you to subscribe. Right now, we're pushing close to 200,000 subscribers. We're about 12,000 away at the recording of this video. But if everybody that watched this podcast was subscribed, we'll be at 1 million. 1 million subscribers. And at 1 million, we'll get that beautiful gold plaque for hitting that rare feat of getting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So, like I said, just subscribe. Today, I have my friends back in the studio. Y'all been asking, where are they? What happened to the Martins? Did Tiffani ever get that kidney that you guys have been rallying behind her getting? Well, without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast, Tiffani and Rich Martin.
Hey.
How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing good, doing great.
You doing great?
Yes.
All right. So y'all were last in the studio on June the 2nd, 2021. What has transpired? Without telling people whether or not you got the kidney yet, let's go ahead and get us up to this date. What has transpired in this last year and 3 months?
All hell broke loose after that podcast went
Really?
out. Just immediately after. And like I've always said, like I knew once we did the podcast, I knew the attack after it just kind of validated the reason why we needed to do, the podcast. I knew it was significant by the attack afterwards, but immediately after that, I went into like multiple surgeries. We removed a port out of my chest and actually got a line in my arm, and it was not giving. And in between the surgeries and just overall health, and then unfortunately we got to October, and my father-in-law, his biological father, passed away like suddenly. So we struggling, trying to get through the days and health situations, and now we're dealing with grief, and so that just brought on a whole different just array of emotions that we had to manage. And I mean, I can't speak for you, babe, but
no, it was like if it wasn't one thing, it was another, because firsthand seeing the surgeries and stuff and like the frustration with that, because sometimes doctors don't listen. We were like, hey, she doesn't need that, and they're still trying to do it. And it's like, well, why won't you listen? And I don't like seeing her
going
deal
through
with
unnecessary
so
pain.
You got that, and then coming home from dialysis, she's tired. And it's like,
but I'm working.
But she's trying to push through, and I'm just like, hey, you can just sit down and just be still. You ain't got to do nothing.
So you said you be working. What do you do for a living, Tiffany?
So,
besides give good husband.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about how you say you give good wife.
Yeah, that thing.
No, I actually own a digital strategy firm. So at one point in time, and I try to make a point in saying this because I have to bring recognition to it. When we got married and I got sick, Rich gave up his career. He wanted to do youth advocacy, and he gave it up completely to be a full-time caregiver. And so he decided, to keep a warehouse job, just, to maintain some type of normalcy, but it gave him the flexibility to care for me. And at that time, I'm doing dialysis 3 times a week, 4 hours a day, and hospital visits, doctor visits nonstop. And he's going between those two. I'm working a 9 to 5, a 5 to 9. There would be times I'm in meetings and you're hearing heart machines in the background. It was just crazy. And we, encouraging each other, just getting through the mud together. Really the only thing holding us together is God and love and the support of family. But to go through all of that, and it was so funny, this is a form of ministry, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
So we out here saying like all the, how to get through marriage, and our marriage is getting tested. But there was never a time where I wanted to give up. It was just like, God, give us a break. Come off my husband, just put it all on me, but give him something, anything. And it kept coming. So when his dad died, it was just like, all right, Lord, I can't talk to you, right? I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so, we asking for a kidney. We going through, and then you took his dad, and prior to that, my uncle passed away. So I was just like, it was just.
So Rich, when did your father pass away?
October 23rd.
Yeah. October 23rd of 2021?
Yes, sir.
How have you been dealing with it?
I joined a grief ministry at my church. Shout out to Potter's House North Dallas. They have a really excellent grief ministry there. And so we would meet Wednesday nights and, via Zoom, and just kind of like talk it out. It was real like transparent, so you didn't really have to hold back and feel like just because this is a church ministry that you got to worry about your cadence or anything like that. So
you was over there cussing on the Zoom meeting?
It got there. It did. But a lot of the stuff that they shared helped me,
process what you was going through.
Processes, because everybody was dealing with grief from all sorts of walks of life. So for me, it just helped me deal with a lot of peace. Like, things were final. You couldn't change it, so you only had what you had, no matter how long you had it. Me and my dad probably had the best 3 years once me and, especially once me and Tiff got married. It was like he was just involved. Hey, what y'all need? What y'all,
So what, was he not present in your life up until the last 3 years ago?
In the earlier years, it was non-existent.
So y'all had the opportunity to heal y'all's relationship.
Yeah, like even before I moved, he came to me and he was like, look, I can't change nothing that transpired prior to this. He said, but I would love to start anew. And I was like, that's fine. If you committed to it, we can do that. And I had to get used to it because it was like,
for all these years he wasn't around.
So he would call. And I'm like, hey man, it's all right. You ain't got.
It was crazy because he would get mad because he just called. I said, Rich, it'll be a time.
Oh.
And I said, just let him have it.
And once he said that, it was like I had to understand. I'm like, yeah, this is probably new for him too.
Give me perspective, because it may be men out there that want to rekindle their relationships with their offspring. So he would call like how frequent in a day?
He would call like, okay, he'll call around 9.
Yeah.
Say he just ate or whatever. 9:15.
No, he won't.
No.
Oh no, it would be back to back. And what was sad about it, Rich was getting mad, and I said, Rich, just talk to your dad. It ain't gonna hurt.
I'm like,
you ain't talked to him for
and I'm just
decades.
like, I don't mind talking to you later, but like, what you got to say again in 15 minutes?
But what we didn't realize, and it dawned on me because I dealt with it with my grandmother. I said, Rich, something don't sound right. It sounds like early stage of dementia. Like
it was like maybe like some time later, I started to notice like it wasn't like he would call in 15 minutes, and that's just how he was at first. Then he would call, then repeat verbatim what he's saying, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, you told me that already," and he was like, yeah, and then he would just keep going like I didn't say anything to him. So I was like, No,
I think what made it, I think when it really hit home is when he called you and got mad.
Oh, he was like, he said, man, I had to look up on Facebook and find out you got married. And I'm like, but you, and I was like, wow. I said, Dad, just to ease him, I said, I wouldn't do that. And he was like, oh, all right. I said, what you looking at is a memory. It was, how Facebook does the memory. He saw it and thought, and I was like.
Oh, he thought you just got married.
He thought I had just got, but I was like, you knew I said, oh, okay. So I called my cousin who didn't live that far from him. I was like, go check on him. And when she did, she was like, ooh. And I was like, what? She's like, his place is bad. And if anybody knew my dad, he wasn't that type of dude. Clean, fresh to death, meticulous about his.
Was he in the military or something? Did he ever spend?
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
And so when she checked, and I was like, so where is he living? She was like, no, it just looked like he was trying to find something and couldn't remember where it was. But then couldn't remember where to put the stuff back that he moved around.
It was just misplaced.
Yeah,
that's what she said?
That's what she said.
It looked like that.
She said it looked like he was looking for something and then couldn't remember what it was. And so that just prompted me to start asking him questions. I'm like, all right, Dad, what's up with your, affairs and things like that? He said, oh, I got a lawyer and things like that. And I Googled a lawyer just to,
This man is deceased.
The man had been deceased for 20 years. And I was like, all right, so now we talking, all right, you got to get out there, check on him.
It was like.
Did he live here locally? Or
no, he's in South Carolina, where he's from.
It was like, Rich, my family will take care of me. Go figure out where he is so we can start trying to figure out how we can start, changing some money around, get some camera, might have to bring in like a nurse aide, something.
Yeah.
To get in front of it, and by the time
we had some time in between there, because remember we had went to Virginia to visit her grandmother, and around that time my aunt had passed, his sister.
Same thing.
And so my other aunt was zooming in from the funeral or whatever, and she gave him the phone to see everybody that was on the Zoom tuning in. And I looked and I was like, he has no bearings because he has the phone down near his stomach, not actually looking at the phone. He had it. And I looked and I was like, his suit doesn't fit. So I'm like, no, he's lost a ton of weight since the last time I saw him. So that's when she was like, okay, Rich, you got to get down there and go see him. So that was August. September, I say, hey, I'm planning to come out there. I was going to see him and then go Connecticut to see my fam. He was like, yeah, come on through. But I had this feeling he was going to be like, once it got closer to me coming to see him, he was going to renege on it. And he did. He was like, oh, man, I might have caught COVID from being around your cousin. And I called my cousin No, he was like, I might have caught COVID, but then he was like, I don't want you to come out here and get sick and then have to go back to your wife. So he had it all elaborately planned for me not to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I called my cousin, I was like, hey, when did you have COVID? She said, boy, I had COVID months ago. I said, well, he said you had it. And he came by to see you. She said, he ain't been over here. And I was like, she said, and she had the same idea. She's like, he don't want you to see him. Like,
yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So October, I want to say 13th was his birthday.
Mm.
And I was at work doing a Saturday event. And my aunt called. And I was like, yeah, you calling me a little too early on a Saturday in the middle of work. And
but
you
had been calling him like
nonstop
for days.
Because he kept forgetting to put his phone on. So he wasn't charging it. So the phone just goes dead. And then when he finally plugs it in, that's when he called. So I'm like, hey man, you gotta keep your phone on.
Yeah.
And so earlier that week, like in hindsight, I was like, okay, I get it. He was like, hey, I'm gonna build my childhood home up and move back to it. It didn't click till that Saturday when I got the call. So he's like, I said, you got a childhood home?
He went home.
He was like, yeah, it's still up. I'm just gonna go to the Veterans Association he was a part of, take out a loan, get it fixed, and I'm gonna move back there and I'm gonna just chill. I said, all right. Called my cousin again. I was like, where's that house at? She said, that house is not livable or repairable. It's still up. So I'm like, what is he talking about? So Saturday morning, like I said, I was at a work event, and my aunt called and she's like, I just want to let you know. And it was like, I felt like it was in a movie where it's just like everything slowed down and you speed up. I was like, I just got hot. I was just like, what? She said, yeah, he's gone. So whatever arrangements you need to make to get down here, just get down here. And I was like, okay. All right. And I just had a talk with my father-in-law about our relationship. And he was just like, just let him do what he needs to do. But if you need help, I'm here. And I was like, that's like, I got my father on one end, my father-in-law coaching me through it. And so I just happened to see him on the way out, and he was just like, hey, and I'm like, he's like, are you serious? We just talked about it. And so it was like a different type of grief where I didn't cry, but it was just like, I was extremely sad because of how he died. Like he was basically alone, and somebody who checks on him every morning happened to be walking by, saw his door open to his house and called out to him. He didn't come to the door, so he just kind of peeked in, and when he saw him, he said, okay, and called 911, and I was just like, so he was alone. And for me, it's just like, if you'd have let me come, it didn't matter about any of all that other stuff. It didn't matter what our relationship was before all that. It was just, I just wanted to be there to help you with whatever. And if you had to go out of, fine. But it's like, just dying alone like that just was weird. Like weird. It was just weird.
I want, for those fathers that have lost contact with their kids, that feel like it's too late, that feel like, oh, they grown, they probably have gotten over me. What would you say to those fathers that feel like it's too late to come repair that relationship with their offspring?
Just don't try to fix anything, but I guess I could just take a cue from how my dad did it. It was just like, look, I can't change anything. I could just start from where we are right now and build from there. And I would just say to the kid, just be open to it. Be open to it. Just be receptive of what he may be trying to do, because I could feel that my dad was trying to make up for lost time. He didn't have to though, but I could just get a sense that he was, and it was just like, she had to tell me, let him.
Yeah.
Let him.
Were you resisting at first?
I was, because it's like, I'm grown now.
Yeah.
So, but I guess it meant more to him to be able to say, hey, I did something for my son.
What do you feel? Because I know you want to put it on him. How do you think you would have felt sitting here now, never having that 3-year experience with your dad? And you got a call from your aunt and said, yeah, your dad passed. You think that would have been like, oh, okay, well, I never really knew him anyway? Or do you feel like you would have died with this void, wishing, wanting, hoping that you could have had a day with him, a week with him?
It still would have been there regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I made peace with what it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I still would have felt the way if he had passed.
Yeah.
Without no, repair or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was prepared to, if it ever happened, it's like, it's still sad.
Yeah.
In a way, but
that's good. First of all, I just want to thank you as a man to actually share that. Again, you're giving a lot of reference to people who may be going through that right now and don't know if they'll get the opportunity to ever have closure or have reconciliation with their father or even their mother or whatnot. And to, like, I have a son who I adopted who, don't talk to his mom, and I always think about that. And at times when she is, when I hear about her on a binge, she suffers from mental illness or whatnot, and I go, gosh, I just hope she doesn't pass away without him having another conversation with her as an adult. He's 19 years old right now, but I say he needs to have that conversation. Now, he experienced a lot of stuff as a child being raised by her, but now as an adult, he can stand and have that man conversation when he's ready to have that conversation. And hopefully God graces him with that time to have that conversation.
Yeah, I don't think it could be forced.
Nothing
like that.
No, he's got to let it organically happen and let God be God. So Tiffani, you said that throughout these years, Rich had to be the one to console you and be there for you. How did it feel when the tables were reversed and now you had to provide that safe space for him? How did you deal with that?
Rich is really weirdly strong. And I say that because...
Why are you laughing, Rich?
No, he is. But if you know his mom, you know where he gets it from. She's an incredible woman. Yeah, she a G.
She's one of those people, like, she'll tell you, she said, if one more thing happens, I'm gonna take one more thing.
And I had to take that. I had to take that because when hell was breaking loose and I was like, I can't do it. She was like, baby girl, you're gonna have to get it in you. If God give you one more thing, you just gonna have to take one more thing. And I was like, what kind of philosophy? But when they started coming, and I was like, in the beginning, when I got sick the first time, faith all just shaky. The second time it came, unwavering. I could be upset with God, but I'm not.
Like for a couple of minutes.
A couple minutes. I mean, was anchored. And it took the Candies of the world, my mom. It took the Brendas of the world, his mom, strong women who went through like hell to for me to really kind of get, okay, you just gonna have to plant your feet and just hold him up. And it took a different type of strength. Like, it took a godly strength to be able to endure what I was going through health-wise and to support him. And the one thing that I learned was just a different type of intimacy. Like I always say, like, people have this misconception that intimacy is just directly correlated to sex. And it was like, no, that's just not what it was. There was plenty of hours and moments where we were just coming home, he throwing boxes all day, wanting to be in the career he wanted, but like dealing with it, coming home, dealing with family stuff, and I'm dealing with work and trying to maintain and tired because I'm done. And just we would just sit in silence next to each other, just either holding hands, holding one another, or just sitting just a foot on each other, just touching each other, just
like
silent.
I would be in and out of sleep, waking up early, and I'll hear her behind me mumbling, and I'm like, she praying, and I'll feel like her hand like on my right shoulder, and I'm like, okay, and I won't say anything. I won't be like, you know, I'm trying to sleep, but I just hear her mumbling, and it's just like, all right, like I might not go back to sleep, but I'm good.
He would just roll over, and I know he would just be rolling over in tears. Cause hours.
Would you be crying, Rich?
Oh, there was one day we was watching the service, and I just broke. I don't know.
Oh, that was scary. I remember when Rich does not cry.
I can tell.
He don't cry. So we laughing, and I was like, oh, this is a good service. And he started crying, and I'm like, let me call my dad, because I don't know what to do. He's never cried, and he is, bawling.
You
and
said,
I'm
let me call my dad?
No, I called my dad. I said, listen.
He cried. He was like,
it's a big old dude. I don't know what to do.
I didn't mean to scare, but it was like, look, I'm tired.
You crying real loud?
Oh, it was weeping.
It was weeping.
It was
so my dad was like, let that man cry.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to check on him later. Just let that man cry. And I'm like, okay. You know, I'm like, babe, what you want me to do?
Just sit here.
Just sit there.
And I'm like, okay, we going to sit here.
Because I'm like, look, whatever emotion I'm feeling, just give me a minute.
Yeah, let me go through it.
And when I'm done, I promise you, I'm going to come right back.
But that's good that you got a moment to release that. Because so that was after the loss of your father?
Mm-hmm.
And you just was balling it up. Did you cry at the funeral?
Mm-mm. It's like anytime I've lost somebody, it's like me and my mom are always the ones that you call to be there to undergird whatever that is. It's like, it's a loss for us still, but it's like when you start to see what happened and how people unravel, it's like, okay, somebody has to be
the glue.
Yeah, and so that was like my mom is the one to spearhead it. So I'm like, all right, I'm with you. And we just getting stuff done, and then it will just come later when we just think about like, wow, they ain't here.
I want you to drop that gem that your mother-in-law said. Your mother-in-law. What did she say? If God give you one more thing.
If God give you one more thing, I'm gonna just take one more thing.
And I didn't realize how much I adopted that. Just
because like when we were getting the nonstop doctor's appointments, and they would bad reports and this and go to surgeries, and it was just, and it was just coming. And Rich would just be like, all right, we're going. We ain't giving up. I'm like, I ain't giving up. And then it's just something that like, when he would leave the hospitals, I would demand the doctors to come in, and I would tell them, get me well to get me back to my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the only thing I got at this moment. Cause
she said, get me well
so I can get back to my husband. Because people don't realize those first year, 2 years, I'm living at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at home. He's home by himself. We newlyweds. We trying to figure it out. And I was like, y'all, get me well to get home. I want to go home. And he would come up. Everybody be like, oh, Rich is coming. You know, he just brought joy to everybody on the floor. I remember one time somebody got a kidney, and he celebrated with the nurses out there with him. And
that's good.
You know, it was just like he would come, and it would just be a breath of fresh air. And it's like, okay, I got to get through one more day. I'm going to fight through it. I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk around this hospital. I'm going to get home. And so that was just kind of the mantra that like my nurse team just kind of like, okay, we gonna get home. And so it was, that's why I say his strength just kind of came from somewhere else. So when his dad passed away, and at that time we was just like trying to just figure out how to just manage, it was like, all right, God, you're going to have to give me something to be able, you know.
Some super strength.
Something super outside of myself. So that's where them mornings, 4 or 5 in the morning, I'm just praying. I don't know what I'm praying. It'll be a mumble, but I'm just praying and, you know, finding coconut oil and putting it on his back or something. Like, we gotta get through this.
So smooth.
You're going to get this coconut oil anointing.
So, Rich, let me ask you this, because people hear y'all stories and they say it just sounds like a fairy tale. Like I talk about, I've had people that have DM'd me that said that their spouse left them while they were going through chemo, or they have cancer. They got this diagnosis, and the husband's like, I can't deal with this. Was there ever a time that you was like, I can't deal with this, and you want to walk away?
Nah.
Why not?
Because I think I've always had that notion, like it's easy to be there when everything's good. It's real easy to be there for that. It's telling when things don't go the way we want it to still be present. And so for me, it was like, I had seen this process a ton of times. I didn't treat it any different. I'm like, no, I'm going to be here.
When you say you've seen this process, what process you talking about?
Just
go back to the first interview. You dealt with, was it your brother?
Yeah, my brother had kidney disease.
Yeah.
Aunts, both my aunts had kidney disease. So it was like, I think all of that prepared me to deal with this.
And that's what I'm saying. See, this is what I find so, when I say God is so intentional about the way he loves us. When he says all things work together for the good of them that love God and to the called according to his purpose, you were called to be her husband.
You know,
because I got to say this because I love how it works itself out. You were called to be that. The Bible says that a husband is, the etymology of the word husband is householder. So you were called to hold your house together. Yeah. And a lot of people, and that's why I say we got to be very careful who we take these vows with, because you take a vow with somebody and you say this beautiful thing in front of this beautiful wedding, and you say for through sickness and in health, but she get a cold to get COVID, and you like, oh no, I ain't signed up for that. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
see,
did you just leave
the
over
funny
COVID?
thing about the vows is you're making a commitment that you can't fulfill until you go through it. Like, you know, it's like
a promise.
It's like, it ain't no telling when that comes. It's just for us, it came early, so it was like,
I was like, nobody asked to get married and fulfill vows this soon. It was like, I'm like, you telling us stuff. I was like, I was expecting to be 60, 70, gray.
Going through that.
Yeah, and it was like,
hello, we here now.
We here right now. Y'all said I do? All right, well, I do too. Come on now. You be like, what in the world? Did you just jump over here and have kidney failure?
But again, like I said about the podcast, as soon as we got married, all hell broke loose. It was like, it didn't scare me. It validated
your purpose. And it's funny because I got to go and say this before we go to this next segment. So on the podcast, you was talking about people going to be asking you to come speak here and going to ask to do this or whatever. And you was like, I ain't trying. Oh, yeah, I'm finna go ahead.
I see you.
Yeah, you see it.
I don't, but I do.
Oh, yeah, you don't see me, but you see me.
Look at it with his cat eyes, Gina. Look at it with the cat eye.
Wherever you are.
That way. He's right there. He's right there.
You said.
You see me pointing at him?
She said, no, y'all ain't finna be trying to have me write books. You ain't gonna have me come and speak and do all this type of stuff. That is not what I'm supposed to do.
That's not necessarily what I said.
What you say, Tiff?
Run the footage.
Yeah, run the footage.
What you say?
Don't you do that. Don't support him. It's Team Martin.
Hey, look, I'm gonna support you in your speaking engagements. Do what you gotta do.
All right, well, let's be clear with everybody.
Go, baby.
I don't like public speaking. I just do it well. After talking to you and you getting in my tail about purpose and life and all of these things, I kind of said, all right, whatever opportunities come, I'ma just do it.
And what have you been doing this last year?
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Yeah, what you been doing?
Literally, no, after the Dear Wifey podcast in June 2nd of 2021, it seemed like everybody kind of came out the woodworks while I was sick. So I am literally, and Rich, no, I am going from dialysis. I am running home. I'm calling Charnel. Can you do my makeup? Because I don't want to look dead on this, on these.
We over here setting up the computer for Zoom meetings, and I'm sitting over here like, when did I become your
He doing my hair when I can't get her.
Open the blinds for better lighting.
And I'm like, I can't tell what light is on. I'm like, does my skin look good? He don't know. I can't verify. It's just we figured it out.
Rich, where the camera at? Right in front of you. Don't move.
Don't move. And so it was like American Diabetes Association called and wanted me to be the spokesperson during Black History Month. And I did a lot of stuff with the National Disability Institute and JP Morgan Chase. And I'm kind of like, for so long to be, no pun intended, overlooked in areas. And then all of a sudden, it came out of nowhere. Never saw it coming. So I can do this all day. And, it's just really cool because...
She's the apple of my eye, y'all.
Apple of his eye. You look at life as beautiful, but it's all in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm. They work, I know it.
They work, they know. Yeah, and to be out of sight, out of mind. And now we here. It's been really.
I love it.
It's been really challenging, in a good way, to kind of come out my norm. Because going back, I give good wife. And what I mean by that is I love being his cheerleader. Yeah. I love being behind him. He's the mouthpiece. You go out, everybody knows Rich. Everybody knows Rich.
Because I'm easy to spot.
I turned into my dad's daughter, and I ain't gonna mention his name because it'll kill me. But I turned from my dad's daughter to Rich's wife.
Yeah.
And it didn't bother me at all because he's just that. He's great. He's that dude. Okay.
Yeah, and for me, it's seeing her in an element where, despite whatever shortcomings, whether it be blind, kidney, or whatever, she can still go with the best of them.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, nah, don't dare shortchange that one. Don't do it because she will show you what it is. And in my humble opinion, she laps circles around people. You know what I mean? Like her thought processes, her energy, what she knows, that's all on display. And I'm just be like, go.
I mean, there'll be times they'll ask for, I'm about to get on stage and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, but we're going to do it. All right? And then it's just like pushing me out there. But I'm like,
I love it.
It's just, people like you, people like, Rich and, my book club, my besties.
Shout out to the crew.
And then especially like my family. My family downplays so much of my stuff because it's just like, hey, I did this. And they be like, that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, yeah, but this is great. This is amazing. They're like, we not surprised. And it's like, y'all, come on now.
Yeah,
like, this is great. And they're like, no.
Listen, I was on Facebook, I guess that was a couple of weeks ago, and I saw you doing some interview or something with Rachel, Mayor Proctor of DeSoto. What was that about?
I called Rachel to see how I could help. And this woman was like, cool, I'm putting you on every board I can think of for the city of DeSoto. And I was like, great. And that's what it's been since then. Rich I'm
a part of CPAP meetings for the city of DeSoto. I'm going to town hall meetings.
I'm on task force.
I'm like,
okay. Honorary members, but it's just been really cool to like support a place that you grew up in.
Yeah.
And I asked somebody how can I help? And they're like, cool. And they've been putting me to work and
man, love it. Shout out to Mayor Rachel Proctor.
Yep.
I was working on her campaign for her to become mayor, and that's my buddy. I'm so proud of all her accomplishments. You're doing a great job for the city of DeSoto, Rachel, and I'm proud of you. But listen, so we did a call on the podcast asking people to step up and bring forth their kidney.
Did y'all step up?
What kind of feedback did you get?
I mean, it was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was, I am from Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Can I send? No, you cannot. Thank you. But
I'm like, how you gonna get that here? But I love it.
I was just like, amazed. And it was older women, younger women, people near, far. And, because of you, and I want to get my health in check. And it was just, and I tried to respond back to everybody. But it was I have never felt like support like that outside of like my family and friends. But it was just amazing. And then for it to come from the Black community.
Yes.
I realized a lot of, the people that contacted me were African American women and men.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, the stigmas that, they don't have them. And so it was just really refreshing to just see that support that came
and one
out of
thing
nowhere.
I definitely want to say is a shout out to this tribe that has been built on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. People who come on my podcast, they say they've never ever met a group or a community of people who are so supportive. A lot of times people are sharing things with the world that they've never shared with anybody on the face of this earth. And so they come with a little reluctance. And then after the episode airs and the love that y'all give to them, they're like, oh my God, why are these people not judgmental? Why are they not? And I love how God is, because he allowed me to walk in this level of transparency so that I create this atmosphere with the community to say, hey, we don't throw no stones here. When people come and they bare their soul and share their truths, then wrap your arms around them and love on them. And hopefully you're inspired to do the same. But to see this community just rally behind you. They kept, how can I donate my kitty? How can I was like, Tiffani, how do they do this? Because I done started something, I don't know what to do. And you was like, hey, tell them to call this number and they can get put on the list. They have to go through all this testing and all this type of stuff. And I was like, cool. And then they stayed with it. Hey, has she gotten a donor? Has she gotten somebody? Because I want to come, I can come here and all this. And I was like,
I checked the comments too. I was like,
oh, them comments.
Lord. We got the comment police over here.
What?
I was like, whoever just contact me directly, that's who I'm talking with. And he talking with some disgruntled viewers, happy viewers, just all. And I was like,
my sister in there trolling. I'm like, hey, you calm down.
Like, you gonna run yourself dizzy. It was just too much. But I wanted to connect with people who had questions. There were some that were like, hey, my health is in this condition. How do I get here? Or, just information, and just, I wanted to be open to provide information in any way, or education, in any way for those who wanted it. And they found me on, Twitter, Instagram, emailed. And it's so funny because every time the show Love is Blind would come out, you would get hits. And so that's where it was like, they would just start coming in, but I would try to respond to everyone that I could.
And I thank you for that. So, did you get a kidney?
I did.
You did.
I did.
You did. So we're going to take a brief little pause right here so we can switch out. Rich, we do have the donor in studio today, and I can't wait to meet her and hear why she became a hero for you. Ladarian, thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, Black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, Black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. none of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical contexts, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Laterras Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. So we're back. I always say that you have unique individuals in your life that really step up and show what they're really made of. They show you that they are truly, truly your friend. And the only way you can judge a friend is if they're there for you in your time of need. And so welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast, Lisa Winkley.
Hello.
Yeah, there it is. Lisa, so you stepped up and you became the donor for good old Tiffani Martin here.
I did.
Your last name is Winkley, and what you just say, Tiffani, about her last name?
I'm blind and her name is Winkley.
So Lisa,
yes.
What made you decide to? Tell me, how did this come about?
Well,
because y'all been friends for how long?
Everybody thinks we've been best friends forever.
That's true. Maybe 5 years.
5
Yeah,
years.
5 years.
5 years.
So, and I will also add, I heard of Tiffani before I actually knew her.
Really? What you hear about her?
Awesome.
Kind of, sort of. So it was a mix between, because she was sick. Tiffany's been sick a whole lot.
Yeah.
And we used to work at the same place. And she was always on the prayer request list. Like, you just saw her name constantly. And I was new at that job, so I didn't know, there was no time that I had met her. I'd only seen this name on the prayer list all the time. So other coworkers would describe Tiffani and just say like, oh, she's really cool and you're going to love her. And I was like,
so I'll take it y'all was working at a church?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
y'all was working at a church and her name was on the prayer list. Because people talking about a prayer list at the job.
Yes,
what kind of job they work at?
Yes. And they would send out, updates, but I'm just like, why do people think I would like this sick girl? Like, she's just on the prayer list all the time. But they're like, she's so smart and she's so this. And so then, I don't know, at some point, I finally did meet her through our mutual friends. Yeah.
I'm going to say their names because they are fans.
Say it.
Oh, goodness.
Connie and Lakeisha.
The other two in the 4-woman book club.
4-woman book club.
4-woman book club.
Yes. And
shout out to Connie and Keisha.
Yes. So they were part of the Tiffani hype crew, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And then I met Tiffani in real life. I was like, oh man, they were right. I like her better than y'all. So then Tiffani and I, we just gradually became closer. I mean, all four of us are friends, of course.
We talk
all the time.
Every day.
It was a lot. And I was just like, this girl, and just she'd be calling me and she'd be texting me. And then, she's my first blind friend. And so I'm just like, how's she texting me all the time?
I was shocked when she texted me one day. I said, am I talking to Rich? Am I talking to Tiffani? What's
I've
going
learned
on?
so much cool technology having this good
My
blind
favorite
friend.
thing is taking their phones and putting on the accessibility feature.
But I know how to turn it off now because now we've been friends long enough. But yes, super fun.
You say you put the accessibility.
Oh, it makes the other ones
mad.
And there's
so
all because
mad.
everything is read out loud. Everything. It doesn't matter if it's a text message, you're opening a web page, it's your email. Everything's read out loud. It's
I
not
gotta
really
keep
that funny.
headsets on because we literally talk all day, every day. The only time we did not do that is when we were in the hospital.
Yeah, and that was weird silence, but but yeah, so we became friends. I knew of her, and then we became friends, and then we just became closer friends. But Tiffani is right. People think that, like, even in my own family, I've had my C girls, my Fab Five friends, like tons of friend groups.
Yeah,
and so they're like, wait, she's not any of those. Like, we don't know this girl. But it's it's not the quantity of
the quality.
It's the quality of friendships.
And so did you watch the episode that she and Rich did?
I did, but not in real time.
You want to hear what her response was?
What was it?
Why is it so long? Just like that.
Just like that?
Just like that.
I don't recall that, but yes, I did watch it because I do remember I saw it, and then I did look at the timestamp, and I was like, "Ooh, we're gonna have to come back to that."
And you came back how many months later? Because the episode aired in June. When did you watch it? Come on, tell the truth.
When did you watch it?
It was like in the fall. I'm getting better. Like, it's not just your podcast. I am the last. I'm that person in the group text that's the last person the next morning. Hey, what were you guys talking about?
You are. I just realized
I'm
that.
watching a show 14 seasons later.
She
I'm
went
like,
on
ooh,
people
this is really good. Like,
she pop up and be like, "Oh my God, Martin is actually good." I
Yeah,
started watching
that.
Martin. You be
I
like,
am-
"Girl, you're
I-
not
yes.
alone, Martin."
I am that person, but that's because I want to make sure that I've got all my full attention to
Yeah.
something because I know me, and if I would have fake watched it if I had
So
just-
when you watched
Yeah.
it, what did you think about that episode?
You want to know what she told me?
No, I want to hear say it. I want to hear say
wanna know
it.
what
now
she
I
told
do
me?
want to. What did I say?
This was so sad.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah, it
Just
was
like that.
so sad.
Just
so
like that.
it's not as if Tiffani and Rich are strangers to me. I mean, I'm your friend.
No,
but-
why you think it was so sad?
Because it was all together. Like, I think it was.
You had to tip. Yeah, I should have broken it down about 4 parts.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. I'm Tiffany's friend, so we were living it with her.
Yeah.
And
To watch it.
to just like you know she had a surgery. You know that she wasn't feeling good this weekend. So you're just kind of like it's just happening, and you're not thinking of the grandioso, all of the stuff happening. So when I'm sitting here watching it and hearing it in one setting, I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is what is happening to you? It was a little overwhelming, and I'm watching it months later, and it was overwhelming. But
My parents refused to watch it.
They do.
And I'm like, y'all support me. They was like, we lived it.
That part.
It's heavy. And I think they still like I don't think they've taken a good exhale since we had the surgery. Cause it's just
I could believe that.
As a parent, I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom kept saying, she was like, I lived it with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, watch the video.
But here's the thing about watching the video. As good of friends as we are, and as much as Tiffani talks to us, me, all of us, there was still pieces here and there that I was like, she never told us that.
Yep.
Or we didn't know that happened.
Yep.
And most Fridays I work from home, right? And those would be one of Tiffani's dialysis day. And I would always like, oh, you always at the D. Like, you at the D all the time. We got stuff to do. And like, we can't go to this concert because you at the D. We can't plan our girls trip because you at the D. But then the D on Friday kind of turned into like our standard talking date. Like, I kid you not, I have a screenshot where we were on the phone for 5 hours.
Yes.
Like, legit, it was just... like, I don't know, like we were in the office, because that's one thing that I never liked is she would be at the D working. And I'm like, why are you at work right now? And I'm hearing...
Girl, I got
the
to
machines
pay these.
beeping in the background.
I got to pay for this health insurance.
But no, you're right. But I would hear that in the like all the beeping and the screaming and the nurses coming to check on her. And it's like, I'm just trying to tell you about my new shoes I got. And it's like blood being drawn. But that was... normal conversation, sadly.
So what moment happened where you said, I want to step up and donate?
I don't know that it was a particular moment.
Because what happens, you hear your friend going through this, you hear them, it wasn't foreign to you to know that she needed a kidney, right? That wasn't the first time that you heard that when you saw the podcast, was it?
So, no, it wasn't. But it was the first time I saw it so formally. Because Tiffani jokes.
Yeah. I can't tell that. I can't tell that, Lisa.
Tiffani.
What are you talking about, girl?
Tiffany's she's a jester. She's and so in our group text, like our group text is not about like Hottie on the corner or what show we lost. Like it is, dang, I need this kidney so I can go do blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or dang, my side hurts. And I'm just like, I'm tired of talking about kidneys. So what can I do so we can turn kidney conversations off and go back to talking about shoes? And so
No, you're laughing, but this is how really what it was like, oh my gosh, I want to go on a honeymoon with Rich. They need to give me an organ.
And then one friend, you right, girl, you gonna get this kidney soon. Other friend, girl, we keeping you in prayer. Me friend. Okay, so like, can we go and get some ice cream after like it was all over the place. But when you go back and you just like, it started to not be funny.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
It started to not be funny. The kidney conversations weren't cute anymore.
Yeah.
And as much as Tiffani would let us know what's going on with kidney stuff, when I will say that probably them being here on this show was a catalyst. Like, okay, Lisa, like move this to the top of your to-do list, because wait a minute, she going out there and asking people now, did something change? Like, is she sicker and she didn't tell us? Did she have like a bad doctor visit and she's trying not? Like, it was definitely like, why are you asking around and above us more when we are right here?
That's good.
We're right here, because she definitely never said anything to us directly. We just had casual, cute kidney conversations. But was it like a turn
that should be a
casual, cute kidney conversations?
That's a blog.
Yeah.
Oh, well, our theme for all of this was called Hello Kidney.
Hello Kidney.
Love it.
Oh,
but like, to be honest, my health was probably a lot worse than what I told my parents, sister, family, friends. It was literally just me and Rich. And I just didn't want
to burden people with.
I didn't. And the group, my book club, my girls, it was such, I could come in the morning and be like, y'all, they, drawing blood is looking bad. And I'm just, I'm tired. I want to do this with Rich. I want to go out on a date with Rich, and I'm tired. it was just really sad. And then they could just turn
really
it.
Sad. Yeah. It was really sad.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
so you went to them for a little bit of light and for them to make it the burden not so heavy.
All three of
because
them.
they'll just laugh
just
it off
wanted
and
to be
have
like,
fun.
yeah. Normal.
And it's a normalized environment.
But you gotta understand, on the flip side, and I want to make this because I get to say it, and I know people gonna watch it. So many people dropped off out of my life when I got sick. Lifelong friends, short friends, work friends, college friends, and it was a handful that stayed. Yeah. But these 3 girls that came out of nowhere, and they rallied behind me, and it was just kind of weird, because I have my 2 best friends. One's here, one is at Atlanta, and it was just like, okay, yeah, I get it. There's years, but these 3 I just met, and they just. Every day, anything I needed. One is doing my hair, one is cooking, one is driving me around. And it's just, they're coming to the house, having book club with me. It's just, it was so foreign that and they hate it, but every time there was a birthday or an event, I'm getting gifts. I don't know. I can't be at everything. I can't do everything.
But we got her a good birthday.
What y'all give?
So
it's not funny.
This is before me signing up to do anything, but we were just, in prayer and belief. This girl going on about a Peloton because, Peloton's all the hype. Once again, what are you gonna do with Peloton? Tiffany, I don't know.
It's stationary. I'm not riding a bike around.
It's true. But she was going to work it out. Had me take her to the Peloton store. She's asking all the questions. I'm the one that can see. I'm accidentally knocking over stuff in the store with it. But anyway, we go and we get her Peloton related gifts, like the sweat towel and whatever else. But then I say, you know what else we should add to the gift, because I know it's going to happen soon? We should get her some kidney beans, you guys. And we got the girl a bag of kidney beans, wrapped it up in all the pretty bows and everything. And that was part of her birthday present.
Can y'all see my face? Because I can't.
It was the best present ever. Well, you're the one who brought up talking about gifts.
Some kidney beans.
Yes. And so it was like there's references to the kidney beans. They're like, we tossing kidney beans. Yeah, it's happening.
You don't like that joke, Tiffany?
You're welcome.
They gave it to me and was like, we got you a kidney. Yeah. We got you hundreds.
Yeah, all the kidneys you could ever want.
I still got them kidney beans.
Yes. And one more.
Oh, yeah. When did you announce to her that you were actually going to step up and be? I know you hate the word hero, but you are a hero.
It's odd.
Yeah.
So November-ish, I have an email where I submitted my application-y kind of thing to be considered, right?
What happened though? What moment happened? You watched the video, it got real to you. You start seeing her, you're talking to her, and it's something clicked where it got real. And you said she's going out asking people on a podcast, soliciting a kidney. This old bald-headed man with glasses is trying to get all his followers to donate a kidney. And you're right here as her friend, talking to her daily, hours, 5-hour conversations. What clicked and made you say, let me be that one?
I didn't want her to be sad anymore and hurting anymore. I just want to help people. And I can't buy you a kidney. It can go I think there's a text. I'm like, who do we need to go shank? Or yeah. And then I said, or surely in the science lab somewhere they're growing these things by now. And then I just sat there and
I'm never deleting that thread.
The least I could do is just go get tested. There's no way that I could just sit by and continue to hear my friend in pain. And there is one small thing that I could do to go get tested. So I sent the email in, but here was the thing. It went to the Fort Worth system.
That's the number she gave me.
Oh, well, it was...
I didn't see it.
So that's why I say November, because it wasn't until New Year's Eve that I actually heard back. from them. So it was like months in between. And I just got a phone call. I had taken myself out to lunch. Yep. And the day before, or maybe that same morning, Tiffani was texting in our group thread and she's like, I might have 2 donors. And
wait, but before then, I had 3 lined up and they were just dropping off.
Which is another thing that she wasn't telling us, was when people would sign up to be donors and she would get called in to go like she gotta be ready, you know, and go in for testing, and then it would be someone that dropped off or someone that wasn't a match or whatever. Apparently, she just stopped telling us that was even happening, which was kind of trash because we're along for the rest of the journey. So I didn't say anything like, oh, I submitted my paperwork, or oh, I might get tested. I just did it so that I could see what was going to happen. I didn't know anything about the process. But when she mentioned it, I thought she was being Tiffani and being funny. And even though HIPAA laws, you can't tell anyone anything, but I'm like, Tiffani knows people. She must have seen that I got a call today.
Nope.
Not at all. And she's saying something about the lady reached out and she talked to her and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm waiting for her to say something about it being me. And she didn't. And so I was like, wait a minute, I think she really doesn't know. And so I was just like, okay, well, as soon as I have my appointment, confirmed, I'll let you know how it goes. She's like, appointment for what? I was like, to go get tested. Like, I'm the second person. I'm the other person. One of the few times that girl has ever been silent. I'm on the phone like, hello. I'm drinking my tea, eating my scones, enjoying my afternoon, and she's just
your
like,
date that you took yourself out on, and you over here eating your stuff, and she's just silent.
Yeah, it's like Happy New Year, and then I realized, ooh, Tiffany's crying. Yes, I'm telling it.
Was you crying, Tiff?
Oh, it was cuss words.
She was so angry.
We don't know what my reaction was,
what?
And it's real stupid. But I was like, why am I looking at this phone? It was just like, what?
And I'm just sitting here eating, and I was like, it'll be sometime later. Like, I gotta go take this trip and get through some work stuff. But it was, I know you keep asking me, like, what was the moment? And there wasn't some, huge.
It started off, because basically it just started off as a trickle. It was like, let me just go see what's going on. Because, of course, you didn't know the whole process. And even talking to Tiffani, I never knew the process. It was like, I thought that it was a whole lot more simpler than what it really is. I thought that you submit, they test you, and they go, oh, here it is. But it'd be months.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
because
months.
It's more than just being a match for someone, which I did not know.
Yeah, I
and
didn't
even
either.
at that time, I didn't know. So that was New Year's Eve. And then my very first appointment was not until February, because like I said, I was working around all kinds of other stuff. And I honestly was feeling kind of bad, because at this point I'm friends with this girl and I'm like, I'm a horrible friend. Like, I'm just now going to get tested, like what? But I will say this. When she told me that, like, oh, it's another lady and we're kind of like lined up, I was already, because the Lord be talking to you. I was like, if this lady is not a match, it's going to be me.
Yep.
And it was funny because on my end, I said,
me.
God was like, it's going to be her. And I was like, all right, prove it. Like, her blood type needs to be incredible. It needs to be like, something needs to happen. Like, I need you to prove yourself, Lord, because we've been getting L's. I need a W. I need a Winkley.
Need a Winkley?
I need a
Winkley. But yeah, that, if you want to talk about like a point of assurance, that would have been
that moment.
Yeah, I was
and
like,
so the other one fell off.
Well, not that she fell off, like, because some people truly fell off. She just was not a match.
Right.
Had not gone in for any testing. It wasn't even my first rounds of giving blood or anything. I was like, it's going to be me. And when I say be me, not as in just match, like, I knew it was going to be me the whole thing. Like, I already saw it, knew it happening. Like, I knew it was going to be me.
And so then February, you go in for testing.
My February was my first. No. It was like my second, but it was I count that as the real day.
Yeah.
Because it was the full day. And when I tell you, I know every single little thing about my body. Like I thought I knew before, but it is blood types and EKGs and I've never had surgery for anything. Thank goodness. Like I've never. I mean, like my wisdom tooth I was put under, but like never anything monumental to happen to my body. So it is test, blood, test, weight test, fasting test, peen, so much peen test. And then, and it's just, like I said, I know everything about my body. So is that
just in the month of February or you have to do it again? That was just
the month of February. Oh yeah, I don't even know how many. I was having amount of doctor appointments that she was having. Like, because here's the thing. They are, which I learned, they are such an advocate for the donor in that system that they are looking for something wrong.
Yeah.
They are looking for a reason for you not to donate because I'm healthy. I'm great. Yeah. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I'm putting myself in harm's way and everything has to be right. I mean, if they don't like how your hair is, if they don't like that you scratched your knee, they are calling the whole thing off because they don't want to jeopardize you for anything. And in addition, which would caught me off guard, is every single appointment at the beginning and at the end, they ask you if you pretty much, do you change your mind?
Yeah.
Do you still want to do legally they have to.
Every time.
I'm like, why are you asking me this? Like, I would not be here. Like, this is already done. Like, why
she
are you
was way more sure than I was.
Yeah.
I didn't. You want to know, honestly, when we were in the hospital and Lisa screaming down the hallway to get her surgery.
Oh, God.
You said she was screaming.
No. I was, but I don't remember.
She got the pre-drugs before the real drugs, and my friend over here is a lightweight. So all we hear down the hallway is, I'm giving her my kidney.
I recall none of this.
It was great. But no, I really did not take a breath and say, thank you, Lord, until they started putting the drugs in my arm. That's when I knew.
So the whole time you're still skeptical?
Skeptical, because so much...
I know.
I don't even want to say bad.
Disappointments.
So much happened to Rich and I that I was just anything. And it was the Friday because we had it set up. The surgery was on a Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Mm-hmm.
We were going to have our families meet that Monday.
Yep.
But that Friday, I'm bawling tears in the house, scared. And I was like,
I remember.
I was like, and I think I mentioned it in the first one. There's a moment in life when you go through so much that you begin to fear God. I wasn't scared of the devil, but I was like, he just keeps using me as a testimony for some reason, and something's bad on that. And I just called her one day, and I was like, Lisa, I'm not having a nervous, panic attack or anything. I said, but something's gonna happen. Something always happens.
Yeah.
So I just said, all right, I'm coming over.
Man, and I was like, I was wanting so badly to come in and shoot the whole process and all that. And me and Tiffany was trying to work with the hospital to come. Yeah. I was like, I got to shoot this. And whatever happened, of course, HIPAA laws and all that other stuff, I couldn't come in and shoot it. But I was like, I was feeling all bad. I was like, man, I want to shoot this. This is great. Because I love to see the hand of God. Like, I love to capture those moments. And, but yeah. According to the hospital, they wouldn't let me do it. But
it's all right.
I'm still a little salty about that. No, I need to get delivered from that. Y'all got to pray for me. All right, I'll let it go. So the reality, that day happened on what? May the what?
May 17th.
May the 17th.
Which is so funny because 17 is Rich and I's wedding anniversary, January 17th. And then the first kidney that I got that failed was June 17th.
Oh, wow.
Well, and I remember I picked the date because I could pick it. Like, I get to choose and do everything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no, it is for real. I tell you, they put everything in your hands because you're the donor. And so it's like, okay, I'm a planner. So, all right, after this, when we finish this at work, So then I told her the date, and she was like, oh, that's perfect. I was like, see, because I plan things, right? So Yeah, so it just worked out. And I remember when I picked the date, Tiffany was like, make sure you're not in recovery for your birthday. Like, you don't want to be sick and laid up for my birthday's in July. And I was just like, you're right. So let me back up and make sure that we're not laid up,
so
all whack and out of shape. So yeah, it was all good.
And so how long was the recovery for you?
So now, continuously, still.
It is?
Yes. I mean, off of work and chilling 8 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It was 8 weeks. In donor life, my body is in shock for about a year at least. When we go and get tested and all of our numbers and follow up, they tell us not even to pay attention to those types of things because your body is still adjusting and trying to figure out where your other kidney is and if it's coming back. But my numbers are lovely. And my numbers are, because I have superstar kidneys. Wait, no, I have to say this, like, because I give my friend like good stuff. So I go in one of the tests and they're testing the functions of your kidneys. So like I said, it's more than just being a match. Learned so much stuff. Like I'm a kidney surgeon now. And they want your kidneys to function at about the same level, right? Because if one's at like 20 and one's at 80, like they're not going to leave you with the bum one. And it's like, that sucks. So I get in there and she gives me my numbers back and it's like 54 and like 53. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that like too high? Like I'm thinking out of the running to be America's Next Top Model kidney person. And she's like, oh no, they're like performing above average. I was like, oh, that's right.
So
of course
the
they
entire
are.
time in our group chat, we got to hear,
me and my
I have superstar kidneys. The other, we are like, okay. And I'm sitting there like, well, I'm about to get a superstar kidney. And the other two are just like, all right, Lisa.
But
like,
I do have superstar.
So what brings that about? I mean, as you've been doing this research and been tested, what did they say things that you've done that helped you have a great
funny thing, we eat alike.
Yeah. Living healthy, that is.
Do you drink?
Socially, celebratorily.
But not as much.
This kidney will never see alcohol. Okay.
So, but
for the
here,
rest
I'm a
of my
pescatarian.
life.
I'm a pescatarian, and I've been that for like 10 years or more
Oh,
than 10
okay.
years. But really, I will say,
I had a friend, when you just said that, I have a friend whose uncle got a kidney. He was an alcoholic or whatever, got a kidney, and then just damaged the other kidney, still drinking again. I was like,
We'll never touch. I'll eat a rum cake, but I am drinking a gallon of water after that.
yeah, it's about like, so Panny happened, right? Everybody's at home baking bread, getting fat. I said, I refuse. What I'm not going to do is get large during the Panny. So, I mean, I already like worked out, but it was like I had time, right? So I could fit all my workouts in. I could take this walk longer.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I'm going to get cute during the Panny instead of fat. And so it was already.
I have never heard it called the panty.
Oh, that's what the kids call it.
Oh,
The panty?
Yeah, the Panny. And so.
We should publish our text messages.
The panty. I'm like, wow.
So,
So you took
yeah,
that
so
time
I was
to
getting
actually get
more
healthy.
and more healthy and just, like I said, you had time during the Panty, so I'm paying more attention to what I'm working out, how I'm working out. I'm paying more attention. Like, okay, I mean, I cook. Like, I'm not like a cook. Like, I don't like love it. Like, I cook good because I want to eat what I like, you know? And so I just was doing that more. So it definitely was already like superstar version of Healthy Lisa and just more and more so. And I will say, because then I turned into like Beast Lisa for a little while, I was like, I'm closing all these 3 wings, like the month of April before surgery in May.
I didn't purchase. I got a gift of an Apple Watch, and I'm sick and tired of her beating my daily activity. But so that's the thing.
I didn't know what recovery was. I don't want to compete. That's her. I'm not a.
Lisa has maxed her activity for the day. So what you gonna do? I'm gonna get up and walk around in the circles.
Didn't ask her to follow me. Didn't want her to follow me. She can turn that off at any time. But Yeah, I just because I didn't know what recovery was going to look like, and I wanted to do that.
Yeah,
like
you will take it seriously
beforehand.
Yeah.
But that is like myself and even other donors. It's like, what do we do to prepare? What do you do? And they're like, don't change anything. This is how you came to be
where you were
as a donor in the first place, because you were already living, doing, eating
you were
right.
qualified.
Yes, do not change anything. So I didn't.
And so how long? So Tiffani, I wanted to have you in earlier to do this update, and they had you on for what period of time?
So for 3 months, it is nothing but doctor's appointments. And because, well, we just got out the panty.
Yeah.
You know, and my immune system is extremely compromised.
Right.
To accommodate the new kidney, because my body is like, oh, it's something foreign in here. Let's attack it. And so they suppress your immune system so your body doesn't attack the new healthy kidney. Mm-hmm. And so when that happens, you're prone to getting sick. So a cold, I just got over a simple cold, and it took me weeks. And so you can't really take anything. There's certain medicines you can't take because it'll affect the kidney. So you pretty much down in water as much as you can, and
flush it out.
Flushing out, eating right. And so that was for 3 months. Then after that, I just kind of like stayed in and was just very cautious of where I went. But it was cool because we started going to movies. Of course, we don't go we go to matinees, and that was different. And
old people shows.
Yeah.
Old people showings.
Old people showings. Going on a date. So for my birthday, I told her, I'm like, I just want to go out. I love getting dressed up. And so my friend over here with the Connect got us.
Really?
Not really.
She got us these tickets to go to the Cartier experience at the DMA. And I got to dress up, and Rich got to dress up. And it was just fun because it was like, this is what we didn't get to do at the beginning. And so we are just...
Oh, she was so happy.
I was like, I got my little red dress on, and I'm going to put my little lipstick on and my little pumps. And he wore like it was just fun.
And props to your husband, because he secretly arranged that. He called me like, I don't know, a couple weeks beforehand and asked what was going on and what I knew about and all of that stuff.
See, this is the stuff I'm talking about. It's like the stuff that we take for granted. And I'm listening you say, I had so much fun. I got a chance to dress up. You named the colored dress that you had on as if that made a difference. But see, you made that made a difference. Like you said, I had this red dress on.
It does make a difference.
I know it, but she can't even see what she's wearing. But she feels different.
Feel it.
No, I wanted a power color. Like, one, it's Cartier, so I had to match the color scheme. But no, I don't want to be muted. Like, I really, no, I'm gonna get my face done because I don't want people thinking like, oh, she blind and no, I don't look like I went through. I'm gonna be a bomb blind chick. Like, no, seriously, seriously.
But it's interesting to hear you describe yourself like that, because I don't know that you've ever not been the bomb, because that's only Tiffani that I know.
See, this is what you need good friends for. But no, I mean, no, seriously,
because I wouldn't be friends with you if you weren't.
I know this, which I don't know how I feel about it, but I know this. But even in work area, and she's worked with me, you're not, I hate it when people be like, oh, wow, you're smart for a blind person. No, I'm intelligent, period. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to let you know, and look at my work. And I don't want people to look at me and Rich as this sob story. You was like, y'all joke a lot. Life is hell. Somebody got to joke about it to get us through. So we gonna make jokes until we can get through it. But
and that's why I said I loved y'all. That's why I wanted y'all on the podcast, to show people how much we take stuff for granted. We take love for granted. We take marriage for granted. A lot of us take the opportunity to get dressed and go on a date for granted. Mm-hmm. You have women complaining to their man, can you just take me out? And he like, man, why do you want to go out? And it'd be months before they even go out on a date. You know what I'm saying? And then here's the thing that you desire the most. You came on the podcast and said, I want to go on a trip with my husband. I want to go do this.
But here's the good part. Guess what I get to do for Rich next week.
What you get to do?
We get to actually go on a vacation for the very first time.
And where y'all going?
We're going to Disney World. I get to take our husband to Disney World.
So fun.
I'm so happy.
Love it. Lord Jesus, I love it.
I've been saving up my little coins. We gonna go see Mickey. I'm gonna go find a princess. I was like, can we get married again? And like, it's a whole list. But look, I'm so. I will bring you some princess stuff. You want a wand and a crown? But no, I'm so happy. Like, he's never been, and like, I'll ask Rich, I'm like, what have you done in your childhood? And be like, nothing, I worked. Or, you know, like stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I ain't been no Disneyland. I ain't no Disney World.
But I get to like.
Yeah.
He's gonna go now. I guess.
It is.
Yeah,
but like, I just get to like, I get to take him. Like, I get to show him and like enjoy it with them and just.
Rich, I need y'all to vlog that like crazy. I'll let you borrow a GoPro. I got about 3 of them in there. Take that. I want to see y'all with GoPros on y'all head riding on roller coasters. I got to see this. Like, this is beautiful. I love it. But that's what I'm saying. I want whoever's watching this episode to understand the value of life, understand the gift of life, the gift of friendship, to show up holistically in our friends and loved ones' lives so that they can actually get to experience life on another level. You said something at the beginning of this when y'all walked in. I'm trying to remember. You said that she said you gave me life, and you was like, I didn't give you life, you already had life. And she said you gave me life more abundantly. And
I really didn't think he was gonna take that from.
I was like, he was listening to everything.
Yeah,
I listen to everything. I listen for a living.
Ladies out there, he listens. He listens.
I was just hearing y'all talking, and that stuff, it plants seeds in my heart, and I'm going, yes, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about abundant life. That you had life, but your life was very painful. It was traumatic. You was in and out of the hospital. Who wants to live like that? You know what I'm saying? And so I want people to listen to this episode, look at their loved ones that's in their lives that may need a kidney, may need something, and you go, you know what? Because there's people right now, like I said, I used to work with this organization, and it's sad that most African Americans don't step up and become organ donors. And so that's the reason why I say you're a hero, because that's factual. It's so many people that's looking for organs, and in order to really get one, they're gonna have to get one from our white counterparts, because black people be like, man, I don't want them taking nothing from me, man. They be doing experiments on this.
I heard that so much.
I did this whole campaign to debunk myths. And one of those things is they feel like, well, no, it was stuff that happened way in the 70s and all that type of stuff, where they would do experiments on African Americans or whatnot, and we've been so traumatized by that we be like, nope, no. And they think that if they put on their license plate, on their driver's license, that they're an organ donor, that if they go to the hospital,
then they're not going to save you.
Yeah,
they're not going to save you.
It's a lie. It's all a lie, y'all. Trust me.
So many off comments made for me. Absolutely overwhelming support, definitely. But well, are you sure you want to do that? Someone else in her family can't do it? Or like, why?
Wait, but let's be clear. Everybody tried to and couldn't. My family did. So but like even the comments I would read about like.
I didn't even read those comments. I don't know what.
I did.
What comments?
I read several comments on different things that we had done together, and it was just kind of like, well, you know, y'all must be best friends, or like, why did she give you? Or like just hearing like different comments about it.
Ignorant people.
Yeah. Or like, I'm not married and I don't have any kids yet. And so that was probably but what if your husband? I was like, I told you, me and the Lord already had these conversations about how well this is set up, and has not crossed my mind. And it just, like I said, I know what.
And you know, when we think about how silly those comments are. You say, what if your husband needs a kidney? What if your kid needs a kidney? How often are we running around with loved ones needing kidneys that's in our immediate family? It just don't happen at a high rate. And even God is so omniscient, meaning he's all-knowing, that if your spouse or child comes into an issue where they need a kidney, God will provide.
I mean, just like larger testimony service.
Yes.
That's all that would turn into.
Yeah.
So it's not as if, but that is
and
just.
I will be an eyewitness.
She's going to be an eyewitness.
Just like it was one of those things that just, that blessed assurance just made it even more comfortable to do the process in the first place, because I definitely asked all of those questions myself because, okay, what does life look like for me after this? I'm still me, still doing the things, hey, oh wait, what did I say? I was like, okay, so whenever it's time for me to have like a baby, like what's up with that? And my nurse, because I love her, she said, well, what does your vagina have to do with the kidney?
All right.
And I was like, you right. You
right. You show is right.
Asking all the questions right now. This is my time to ask questions. But just
good kidneys, yada 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 yada.
But just being very real about it, because there are so many conversations about the nonsense of it, and
Man, listen, I enjoyed talking to y'all. I hope people are so inspired. Again, salute you, Queen, for stepping up for your friend in such a big way. Shout out to my boy Rich for loving his wife on levels that we rarely see our men love their wife, for actually taking those marriage vows to heart. And now you get a chance to experience the abundant life with your wife. And I speak right now for y'all to experience many, many, many years. I want the Lord to give back the years that the cankerworm tried to steal from you. And I want y'all to just, go to Disney World. Y'all going to Disney World, Disneyland? Which one is it?
Oh, no, we're going to Disney World.
We're going to Disney World. I want y'all to kick it, have fun. Rich, I want you to tap back into that childhood, laugh like y'all always laugh, love like y'all always love, and have amazing sex. For me, since I'm abstinent.
All right,
have amazing sex. For me, since I'm abstinent, I need you to.
Yeah. We got to work on part 3 for the kids. We're working on kids. Little Richies.
Little Richies. Listen, man. Now this next season,
wherever he is.
This next season of the podcast, season 6, will return the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I always have a name for the season, and something I normally don't ever talk about, but this last season was about uncomfortable conversations. This season is called Miracles and Manifestations. And a lot of y'all believe in God for some great things to happen. I'm believing God to move like he never has in my life, and he's been doing some amazing things. And so I want to tap into love stories where God showed up and showed out to bring encouragement to a lot of us who are seeking and awaiting our future spouses. I want God to bring a level of encouragement, a level of hope, and I speak a suddenly to be released in y'all's lives where y'all are tapped into y'all's purpose partners. I'm wearing all green today. I'm wearing this mint green because I'm a manifest Toby Wigway and Fat on the podcast. I absolutely love them. And I said, you know what? I want them on the podcast. So I'm wearing this mint green in honor of one of my favorite hip hop artists. They have such an amazing, dynamic love story. And so a lot of y'all been DMing me talking about, you need to get Toby Wigway and Fat on. I was like, listen, I want them. So, hey, Toby Wigway, wow. I need you on the podcast. So I'm about to manifest you season 6 on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Come on this podcast and show us that love story. But listen, give it up for Lisa, Tiffany, Rich. Thank y'all for being on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Much love to y'all.
Thank you.
First of all, let me just say thank you for rocking with me this season. I mean, this season was amazing. I mean, we hit 100,000 subscribers. We're on our way to hitting 200,000. We hit 100,000 back in July, and it took about 2 years and about 3 months to hit that. And then literally, 3 months later, we already got another 80-something thousand subscribers. So, I mean, God is amazing. What I love so much is not so much about the numbers as it is about the impact. And God is impacting people's lives all across the globe. And I'm extremely, extremely excited about that. 2023 is going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to start back season 6, the week of Thanksgiving, the Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. We're going to kick it off. Looking forward to the guests that God is going to bring this upcoming season. Because God always blows my mind. I have an idea about certain guests I want, and then God will bring those and then some. So thank y'all for rocking with me. I hope y'all found a lot of value in the content as I've been reading. It humbles my heart to know that God used this podcast to bring Tiffani a kidney, and in such an unconventional way. I mean, her close friend, one of her best friends, was used as an instrument to bring life to her. And it was through watching the podcast and it becoming real to Lisa, the impact and the need that old Tiffani had that brought about a miracle. Yeah, that's humbling. That's God. That's God. Whew. All right. I'm not going to cry. I don't know what you may be going through right now. I don't know if you lost hope, if you feel like your good is repaid with evil. I don't know if you feel like you've been taken advantage of far too long. I don't know if you're a person that feels like people take your kindness for a weakness. Maybe you're dealing with loneliness. You cry yourself to sleep at night, and you wonder when this depression is going to end. I hear the voice of God saying right now, fear not, I am with thee. Fear not, I am with thee. Somebody watching this podcast, somebody that's listening to it on some of the streaming platforms, who wants to give up hope. Don't. I speak against the spirit of depression. I cancel that spirit out right now in the name of Jesus. To somebody that just went through a failed relationship, a relationship that you lost yourself in. And you're holding on by a thread, trying to pull yourself together, trying to bring sanity back to your life. You're struggling with, why did God allow you to go through this? I want to encourage you right now to know that all things work together for the good of them that love God and to the called according to his purpose. I know you don't understand that right now, but I'm telling you, just keep living. Just keep living. Just keep living. Keep waking up. Keep getting dressed. Keep putting your makeup on. Keep combing your hair. Keep brushing your teeth. Keep living. Brother, I know it's hard to talk about the hurt that you've encountered. You work hard to avoid dealing with the pain of your past and even the pain of your present. But I just want to encourage you to get along with God. Talk to him. He said, cast all your cares on him because he cares for you. I know it's hard for you to understand that he truly cares about you. I know it's hard for you to fathom that all the things that you've done, the mistakes that you made, the people that you hurt, that God still cares about you. But I've come to let you know that he is married to the backslider. He's married to you. You can't escape his love. His love is unfailing. It never runs out. Open up your word. Just read. If you need somebody to talk to, DM me, reach out to me. I'll lock arms with you and walk with you through this thing called life. I know it gets hard. I know you feel alone. I know you feel like you can't count on nobody. But I got you, brother. I got your back. I see you. I truly do. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Heavenly Father, I lift up those that are finding hope in this podcast, that are looking for encouragement, people who are looking for a little bit of oxygen to just breathe because life is so hard. God, I ask right now, in the name of Jesus, for the people who are struggling in their marriages, God, I speak of peace. Be still. Over their marriages, peace. Be still. They need peace. Allow them to reconnect to the purpose of why they got married in the first place. Allow them to realign their visions. And those that don't even have a vision, let them create a vision and a mission statement for their marriage. Give them a little bit of hope and healing, God, to restore their broken marriages. And God, those marriages that are not meant to be, give them the grace to go through a divorce healthy. No, it seems like an oxymoron, but God, you proved it to me. Allow them to go through a divorce healthy. Minimize the damage. Allow their children not to become a statistic. Reveal yourself to even their children watching their parents go through a divorce. Touch their precious hearts and souls. Peace. Be still. And those of us that are single and still hope to be married, and when we look into this hopeless society, feeling as though people just don't have the spiritual wherewithal to make compatible spouses, God, I ask right now in the name of Jesus for you to give us clarity of thought, clarity of mind, that your voice resonates more than any other voice of influence in our lives. That we don't lean into the statistics, but God, we lean into our Savior. We thank you, God, for all that you're doing. You're a merciful God. You're a way maker, a miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. That is who you are. And so, God, continue to do what you do best. Heal, set free, deliver. As we dig deeper into you, God, reveal our purpose. Those of us that are wandering aimlessly in this world, looking for direction, looking for purpose, questioning why we are even on this earth in the first place. God, I ask that you just roll out the blueprint. Reveal to us our purpose. And then connect us to our purpose partners. We thank you. We thank you for allowing us to continue to live to see this moment. We thank you. To see this moment. We thank you, God. Because a lot of our loved ones aren't alive to see this moment. So we thank you for the blessing of life. So God, continue to do what you do best, God. And we'll continue to serve you in moments where we don't even want to submit to your will. We'll continue to serve you because you're a good, good Father. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Here's my favorite part of the podcast, where I speak to my future wifey. Dear future wifey, do you believe in miracles? I do. That's why I consistently write letters to you and speak those things that be not as though they were, because you are. You exist. These letters aren't fictional. These words aren't frivolous syllables strung together to get an A for a school assignment. This prose is my heart bleeding in black ink to manifest you, my heavenly assignment. I was asked in a recent interview if what I desire in a wife is unrealistic. I quickly responded, no, it's not. I know she exists. Queen, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for purpose. A wife is great, but a purpose partner is even greater. Girl, I can't wait until we're revealed to each other to show the world God still performs miracles. Your future hubby.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving.
Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.